live me? What up, YouTube? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. I'm here. What's up, Joe? Hold up. My phone's getting a little goofy. There we go. There we go. All right. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, live me. So far, the YouTube is up. And I'm not sure if Pasta's here or not. So I might be having to monitor the chat by myself. Pausing the stand-up vid from Ron's Patreon to watch Ron live. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. And thank you for checking out the stand-up vid. Which, by the way, you can access right now if you join my Patreon, patreon.com/Ron Placone, patreon.com/Ron Placone. We got 13 over on the YouTube, 13 over. So I don't know if Pasta's here or not, because Pasta and I no longer live together. I moved, me and my girlfriend moved into a place. So I don't know if Pasta is here today or what his deal is. But you know, it's funny. I'll share some quick adorableness with everybody. How's Lucy? Funny you should ask about Lucy, Joe. Because here's something she did today that was, I thought, pretty adorable. Speaking of my executive producer, Pasta, and slash show booker, Pasta, Lucy, I was getting set up for this morning, and Lucy was whining at the bathroom door. The bathroom door was closed, and Lucy was like whining at the door, like she really. And at first, I was like, "What the hell is she doing? Why is she whining at the?" And then I realized she probably thinks Pasta's in there, and she wants him to come out, right? Because she's used to him being around at this time. And, you know, the both of us being around at the house. So she's still getting used to him not being around. So I'm pretty sure she was looking for Pasta. So I ended up, because she was like digging up the carpet and stuff, everything. I ended up just opening the bathroom door so she could see nobody's there. So now, like, pretty much every door in the apartment, which there aren't many of them, she knows that they're open, so she knows no one else is here. She's definitely used to having my girlfriend around. Joe asked, is she getting used to having your girlfriend around? She definitely is, because my girlfriend would be around a lot even before we lived together. You know, she'd come over a lot. So there's definitely, she's cool with that. She's just not used to it just being me and her at this time of day. She's used to, you know, I mean, she has her daily routine just like anybody else. She's used to having Pasta around at this time. She's not used to having my girlfriend around at this time. So she's not thinking about that, you know, but she is used to having Pasta around. I'm glad some of you guys in the YouTube chat are mentioning that you got a notification. I'm thrilled to hear that. I don't know how that happened, but I'm glad it happened. And let's see, ferrets. I've never had a ferret, definitely human, but I'll have to check it out. And Sean, Lucy Brownie 2020, better than anyone the Democrats rigged the primary for. I would vote for that ticket too, Sean. I really would. I would totally vote for that ticket. Sarah says, you are the most inspiring person that I've ever met. You got to meet more people, although I'm very, very flattered. I'm very flattered. Sorry, I'm tardy. I was watching a Graham Elwood video. Marcia says, Marcia, that's okay. I love Graham Elwood. In fact, you set me up for a nice little plug, Marcia, so I'm going to have to use that. I hope you don't mind. Graham Elwood and I are touring together. What dates are already announced, Ron? Well, May 9th, we're going to be at the Tempe Improv in Tempe, Arizona. May 10th, we're going to be at Pennington's Pub in Lake Havasu, Arizona. May 11th, we're going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Center of Science and Wonder. And May 12th, we're going to be at the Comedy Palace in San Diego, California. More info is on my website, ronplacone.com. And you can totally email me for more information on any of those shows, or to get on the guest list if you're a patron. Which, by the way, I just released a full-length stand-up video from my headlining weekend at Flappers. I released one of the sets in full to my patrons. So hey, you know, join the Patreon. You can give as low as $1 a month. Doesn't matter what amount you give, and you get all the same content. You get free show tickets, all kinds of perks. So please consider it, guys. So we got 34 people over on the YouTube, 28 people over on the live me. We are neck and neck, but either way, one of us is over 30, so you know what that means. The show has officially begun. Get your news on, I don't want to know what's going on. We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron, I want to know what's going on. We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron, I want to know what's going on. Getting our news on today. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. And by the way, this is the first time that we've had the theme song in my new setup. I don't know if the audio is a little. I know we're having some problems with the audio clipping over on the YouTube. I know live me we're okay, but I know YouTube the song's been clipping. I apologize for that. I'm working on it, so I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your patience. I hope you like the new setup. Again, still a work in progress. Still going to be updating stuff. And let's jump into things. So first of all, we like to start off with a question. I haven't heard from Pasta, so it looks like I'm monitoring both chats by myself again, which is okay. But I'm going to have to ask you guys to be a little patient, and I'm going to try to get to as many people as I can, as quickly as I can. Start tweeting those articles, though. Tweet them over on Twitter. Tweet them to me at Ron Placone, or post them in our Reddit subsection, which I'm opening up right now, reddit.com/r/GetYourNewsOnWithRon. And we got a couple things that I want to start talking about here over in the Patreon. But first, let's start, or excuse me, not the Patreon, the Reddit. Sorry. Too many platforms. All right. So first, let's start off with a question. So here's the question. I want to I love the Jimmy Dore show, and you're great on there. Thank you very much, Alberto. I appreciate it. And thanks for checking out Get Your News On with Ron. On the bus on the way home from Brighton to Eastbourne in the UK. Can't wait. James, that's awesome. I am trying to tour the UK this fall. I'm trying really hard to tour the UK this fall. So drop me an email if you have any insights on where you want to see me go. Go to ronplacone.com, drop me an email, because I am trying to tour the UK this fall. All right. So here's the question I wanted to ask today. For some of you guys were here yesterday, which, by the way, this is the first show we had the theme song, because we had a guest 2 shows in a row. We had a guest on Friday, and then we had a surprise guest, Tim Canova, yesterday. Oh, by the way, Marcus says, happy National Hug a News Person Day. Here's a virtual hug. I appreciate that. I don't know if I'm technically a news person or not. I guess that's up to the viewer to decide. But I appreciate it nonetheless. I'll always take a hug. Why not? So anyway, here's what's going on. My question for today is, Tim Canova was our guest yesterday, and a lot of you guys tuned in. It was an interesting chat. So here's the question I want to ask, and this is just for us to ponder. For anyone that's not in the know, here's the quick cliff notes. Tim Canova is a progressive running against Debbie Wasserman Schultz in Florida's 23rd district. In 2016, he was screwed over royally. A bunch of ballots were destroyed. He may have won. We don't know for sure that he didn't win, because those ballots were destroyed. A bunch of ballots were destroyed. So he's running again in 2018. He's built some name recognition. He's got a shot. He decided he's going to forego all the Democratic cheating and try to avoid spending his energy there. And instead, he's running as an independent and he's focusing his energy there as opposed to running as a Democrat. So my question to you guys, is he doing the right thing running as an independent? And or should he green enter? I know that's a question that we asked him on the show. His answer was that he feels like the Green Party has a hard struggle in Florida. He thinks it could hurt him more than help him over in Florida. And it's tough for us. Well, it's tough for me. I can't speak because some of you guys might live in Florida. But as somebody who doesn't live in Florida, it's hard for me to say whether or not that's the case. But I can understand where he's coming from. So the question is he doing the right thing by dropping out as a Democrat and running as an independent? My answer is yes, yes, and yes. And as far as green entering, I think that's kind of a case-by-case basis. And if he truly feels that the Green Party would hurt him more than help him, he's doing the right thing by running as an independent. Because, well, I think there's a lot of benefits to green entering. I think that overall his first priority should be winning. I mean, because some people said, well, he's a real popular politician. If he went into the Green Party, wouldn't it help out the Green Party? Potentially, yes. But if it would hurt his chances of winning, then he needs to kind of put that priority first. You know, him beating Debbie Wasserman Schultz has to be priority number one. It doesn't matter to me. He could run Republican for all I care if he's a progressive, Sean points out. I do not think the Greens would accept his views on Israel. Someone points out, go indie even if you're green. Bernie has brought integrity to that. Jim says he thinks he's green exiting. Okay. So a progressive Republican, do they exist? Sam Ronan is trying to make that happen. Yeah. Joseph says, yes, yes, and yes. I think he's getting a bit more support now that he is independent. A lot of Dem exiters and progressives hated the fact that he was running as a Dem. Established Dems are in a panic, evident by the side change in tactic from don't rock the boat centrarian to Sandercrat liberalism. Why is The Rock acceptable but not Tim? I'm not sure I understand what you mean by that, Chili. The problem running as an independent nationally is ballot access. Florida is burned out on Greens, DC points out. Yeah, and he laid out his plan for getting on the ballot. I mean, the thing that Tim has going for him is he does have a lot of name recognition, and he is fairly popular in that state. So I think he's going to be able to get the signatures that he needs. He's already working on it. So we'll see. The Rock won't rock the boat. Unless it's in a movie script. Unless it's in a movie script. The Green Party isn't going to bring in the center right you need in Florida, Philo points out. I believe we're seeing a shift. Reagan in the money points out. I love your screen name. That screen name, I just kind of caught it. Reagan in the money. Because Reagan, your screen name's awesome, Reagan in the money. That is so cool. I dig it. I wish I could call my album that. Ron, you just need to join, LOL. I believe we're seeing a shift. The Dem exiting is working. Florida is so corrupt. Marcus says yes. Let's see here. Is Florida a place where the Greens can win right now? I feel like places like California are where the Greens have a real chance. I agree. I agree. Some holders still exist. The blue wave is coming. Dems still blame 2000 on Nader. How stigmatized are Greens in Florida? Well, I don't know. I mean, Florida's, and I haven't spent a ton of time in Florida. I did kick it in Orlando for a little while. It was not a good moment in my life. Not that matters, but uphill media. Equals uphill media. Okay, I wasn't sure what you meant by that, Cheese. So independents are the largest voting bloc in the country. More people should run as an independent. They are the real broad brush party at this point. I'm with you. So I think overall, our consensus is he did the right thing by going independent, and more people should follow his lead. However, not everybody has the name recognition that he does. So that's a factor. Whether we like it or not, that's a factor. However, I totally understand the guy. He already did the legwork getting his name out there, and he put up with the Democrats stifling him. So it seems like he figured, why should I go through that again? And I don't blame him. Where do you think this Russian poison hype is leading, and is there any real evidence? You know what? That's where we're going next. You guys brought up two things that we got articles in the can for. First, you brought up the poisoning, then you brought up the YouTube thing, and we're going to go to both of those places. Let's go first over to Twitter. This is from Edwin. I'm going to give this a Get Your News On with Ron retweet. We're going to go here first, and then we're going to go over to a YouTube article because I know that's very pressing as well. But I just gave this a Get Your News On retweet. This is from Edwin. All right. Salisbury poisoning. UK experts cannot prove Novichok nerve agent used on scraples came from Russia. Accusations and recriminations between Britain and Russia are set to escalate with the news that scientists at the Porton Down Military Research Facility have been unable to establish exactly where the Novichok nerve agent used to carry out the Scorpio attack was manufactured. The admission comes the day before Moscow convenes an emergency meeting of the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OPCW. Every time I hear Salisbury, I think of steak, Kimmy points out. Kimmy? Me too. Russia's embassy in London responded that Portion Down's assessment proves that all political declarations on the Russian origin of the crime are nothing more but assumptions not stemming from objective facts or the course of the investigation. The development also comes from Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, suggested that British intelligence services carried out the attempted assassination of the former M16 agent Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia, and claimed that it had proved beneficial in distracting attention from Theresa May's government having to make major concessions to the European Union on Brexit. The OPCW is due to present on, excuse me, sorry, I'm reading this in real time, folks. The OPCW is due to present its own conclusions on the nerve agent in the near future. It remains to be seen whether it will be able to provide definite proof that the Novichok came from a Russian government facility or echo the Portion Down position. Now, what did they say here in the United States press immediately? They said it is from Russia, and we have no doubt about it. That's what MSNBC said right away. It's from Russia. We have no doubt about it. That's what our intelligence agency said. They said 100% certainty. You know what else they said we had 100% certainty of? Weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. The fact that Trump, quote unquote, colluded with Russia, even though we don't have any conclusive evidence of that. And so far, what's been brought to light after a year and a half of investigations? A staffer that was basically ignored by everybody else and 13 Twitter trolls. That's it. And yet these are supposed to be our heroes. These intelligence agencies are supposed to be our heroes. Why? Because they don't like Trump. Why don't they like Trump? They don't like Trump for all the wrong reasons. They don't like Trump because they're worried he's too dumb and too much of a knee-jerk reactionary to continue the military-industrial complex as usual. That's why they don't like Trump. They don't dislike Trump because his policies are terrible. They don't dislike because his policies are just Republican policies. There's no policy that Trump has that isn't just a regular Republican policy. Are the policies repulsive? Yes. Republican policies are repulsive. Democrat policies are non-existent. And that's our system, guys. Repulsive policies or non-existent policies that aren't repulsive. Choose. And if you want something more, fuck off. We don't do that here. If you want something more, if you think we deserve better than the richest country in the world, you just want a pony and you're a purist and it's your fault. It's your fault we're in the mess we're in. That's what the media will tell you. So there you go. There you go, guys. So scientific experts are saying we don't really know the source yet. And it was all speculation out the gate. But instead of getting our facts straight and shooting, instead we just shoot first and aim later. Which, by the way, I used to think it was shoot first and ask later. It's shoot first and aim later. I was getting that phrase wrong for like 15 years. But unlike all the intelligence agencies in the United States, and unlike our corporate media, I'm willing to admit when I made a mistake. It's shoot first, aim later. Shoot first, aim later. Don't shoot the pony, James point out. Shoot first and ask questions later. So I guess some people do say it that way. Marcus says, really? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's shoot first and aim later. Yeah. I think that's the phrase. But I don't know. Maybe they say both because some of you guys are saying both. Shoot first and ask questions later. Okay, so Celeste says, I thought it was ask too. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it is. Man, now, I mean, somebody told me it was, and then I thought, like, well, that makes sense. Shoot first and aim later. Maybe people say both. All right, so I wasn't wrong. No, just maybe people say both. Don't admit fault. It's a sign of weakness. They'll dismiss you as a lunatic. Shoot first, ask questions later here in Chicago. It's shoot first and ask questions later, you fool. All right, I don't know if I don't know if you need to call names over it. Ron sounds more like our foreign policy. It can depend on the area. Sounds more like our foreign policy. Shoot first, ask later. I've never heard aim later, Shays points out. Fair enough. Well, hey, maybe I wasn't alone. That's the one I love. Snitches get stitches. Sorry, fool. It's okay, Ashton. I was just messing. Theresa May now says it was either the Russians or the band Poison. Love it. Shoot first and ask questions later. That's a U.S. thing. To take hasty, immediate action with serious consequences without first adequately investigating the situation. So we had it right. I've been saying it right all along. Interesting. All right. Since I'm apparently a Russian troll, Sean says, I guess I'm still waiting on my check from Putin. Me too. I like the format of the show, Ron. Great idea. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, it's not for everybody, but you guys like it, and that's what matters. Somebody said the other day, one of our questions the other day was we asked about, I asked you guys what guests you would want to see, you know, because that's something that people do on shows a lot. They're like, what guests do you want to see? Let me know so I can try to get some guests that you guys want to see. And somebody commented and they were like, what doesn't the audience do for this show? They were mad. They were mad that I was asking the viewers what guests they wanted to see. And I was like, well, I guess that's one way to look at it. I don't know. I didn't think of it from that way. But fair enough. I guess I did. I am asking. Ron Placone and Ron Paul would be an interesting matchup. It would. And then until healthcare came up, then he would give me a headache, Joseph. He would give me a headache. Amazon is a monopoly like Walmart. It sure is. Winkle, I see you've moved. Yes, I have, Winkle. Are you still in New York? All right, so here we go. They were mad you asked for interactions from an interactive platform. That's what I was thinking. I was like, well, that's sort of the purpose, I guess, but I don't know. All right, so there you go, guys. We still don't really know where it came from, although they've responded aggressively already because Russiagate isn't limited to the United States. It's moved overseas. Let's see here. All right, so we're going to go to YouTube. You guys have been asking about YouTube. We're going to go there. I'm on our Reddit subsection, but I'll go ahead and I'll tweet this article out too so that you guys can see it. Let's see here. And I think DC actually tweeted me the exact same article. So we're definitely going to go here next. Father of the YouTube shooter says he warned about daughter. A day before a woman opened fire at YouTube headquarters, her father said he warned the police that his daughter was upset with the company's handling of her videos and might be planning to go to its offices, where she later wounded 3 people before killing herself. Police disputed the father's statement, saying that Nassam Agdam's family gave no warning she might commit violence. Authorities also said that she also visited a gun range before she entered a courtyard on Tuesday at YouTube's main offices south of San Francisco, pulling out a handgun and fired several rounds. Investigators do not believe the 39-year-old targeted anyone in particular. She told family members that she believed the company was suppressing her videos, which included segments about veganism, animal cruelty, and exercise, along with glamour shots of herself. The shooter got into the building through a parking garage. A law enforcement official with knowledge of the investigation told the AP that she had a long-standing dispute with YouTube. The official, who spoke on the condition of anonymity because the official was not authorized, said she used the name Nasame Sabs online. A website in that name decried YouTube's policies and said the company was trying to suppress content creators. YouTube filtered my channels to keep them from getting views. There is no equal growth opportunity on YouTube or any other video sharing site. Your channel will grow if they want it to. People who post on YouTube can receive money from advertisements that accompany their videos, but the company demonetizes some channels for reasons including inappropriate material or having fewer than 1,000 subscribers. Agdab hated YouTube and was angry that the company stopped paying her for videos she posted. Her father, Ismail Agdam, told the Bay Area News Group. So, and I'm sure you guys are already familiar with the sort of story. It was breaking yesterday. This woman went into the YouTube studios and she opened fire. And it was pretty messed up. I mean, it did not. This is not how you. And does YouTube have its issues as of recent? Yes. I get videos demonetized all the time because I talk about topics that are in the news and politics world. And if they're topics that YouTube deems quote unquote unadvertiser friendly, they get demonetized. A lot of content creators have been stifled on a platform that once didn't stifle them. They've changed their algorithms to stop bigger channels from getting even bigger. A lot of people don't get notifications. People tell me every day, between this and between the Jimmy Dore show, I hear every day from people, whether it be my channel or Jimmy's channel or a related TYT Network channel, they're not getting notifications. They're getting unsubscribed. Yes, it's real. Yes, it's happening. And I don't even think it goes pretty much without saying that this woman's reaction was beyond uncalled for and not the answer. That's not the answer. The people that work in those studios, I mean, first of all, they're not the people responsible for these changes. And even if they were, this is not, that's not how you react. Just because a platform changes its policies and it doesn't favor content creators, that sucks. And that's something we have to deal with and adjust to. Going to an office and shooting anybody is not the answer. So, and I know that goes without saying. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but as a content creator, I think it's important to point out what this person did was terrible. And certainly, I mean, no content creator was in any way inspired by this. In fact, everybody, and speaking from people I know and speaking for myself, this was just nothing more than scary, because I didn't know when I first heard it. I know people that work at YouTube Space LA, you know, and I didn't know where this was. They just said YouTube Space, YouTube headquarters. It wasn't clear if it was in LA or if it was in the New York one or the San Francisco one. Not that it matters. It's terrible no matter what. I'm just saying my first thought, I was visualizing the space in my head and the people I know that work there. So what this person did is certainly not the answer. What is the answer? What is the answer is to evolve with the platforms. That's just the way it happens. You know, when the Telecommunications Act of 1996 happened, a lot of people thought that their career in radio or television was over. And for some people, it was. For some people, it was over. For other people, they evolved with the platforms. And they figured out a way. They went to YouTube. Or they went to, you know, a different radio network. Or they went to smaller networks and got syndicated. Or they became a streaming show, or they developed a live show, whatever. My point is that the platforms are always evolving, and in many ways, I see what's going on now as kind of a similar, this is our Telecommunications Act of 1996. This is a new version of that. This is another example of the powers that be trying to homogenize the media because they know we're getting powerful. They know that independent media is growing. And the powers that be don't want that. That's why MSNBC and CNN. Now, and you guys, especially you guys that watch the Jimmy Dore show, you really know this. Their videos on YouTube used to get, they would get a couple thousand views, which for a major corporate news network, that's not a lot. Now, because they automatically subscribe people to those channels, YouTube will subscribe people to CNN and MSNBC. They'll push those videos. Now those videos get thousands and thousands of views, and videos like my videos, like Jimmy Dore show videos, we and like Secular Talk, Humanist Report, we all get less views than we used to get because the algorithms have changed. And it's because MSNBC, CNN, the corporate media, they know that cable television is sinking like the Titanic. So they need to evolve, and now they want to try to take YouTube. It makes perfect sense. It shouldn't surprise anybody. Whenever a platform grows to the point where the powers that be are threatened, they're going to try to take that platform. That's just how it works. Why do you think we're losing net neutrality? It's all connected, guys. It's all connected. They want to got net neutrality so that they can, you know, the corporate powers can take over the internet. So the way we fight back is to evolve with the platform. There's always going to be something, and until we reach a true Orwellian state, there's always going to be something for us to go to. And next it might be Steemit. Next it might be a new streaming platform. We might have to develop our own streaming apps, which is something that I really want to make happen. But I don't know how. I need some people to help me with that. And I've brought it up on the show before, and some of you guys have been like, I'm all about that. Well, let's make it happen. Let's make a streaming platform. I'm all for it. So yeah, what this person did is obviously not the answer. I mean, that goes without saying. Gun violence is terrible. But is something going on with YouTube? Yeah, it is. But we're going to have to just evolve with the platforms. We can't yearn for a day where it goes back to the way it was, or even protest for a day to go back to the way it was, because it's not going to go back. It doesn't work that way. You know, and again, to make the parallel, When the Telecommunications Act of '96 happened, did some people probably protest to keep their jobs? Yeah, probably, and it didn't work. Did people probably try to hold on to what scraps were left in radio? Yeah, they did, and it didn't work. Now, I'm not saying protesting in general doesn't work, but protest the right things. When a medium evolves and a medium is gobbled up, there's no going back. Creating your own platform is the most extreme form of creating your own bubble. There you reach no new people, dude. Platforms evolve all the time. What do you mean creating your own platform? You mean like creating a different streaming service? There's a lot of streaming services that are available right now that are just waiting to be bought up. If somebody created a streaming platform, a streaming app, and it's not like it's like exclusive as in only certain people can join. Anybody can join. Anyone can download it. It's meant to get to a lot of people. So then, you know, a lot of these streaming apps are just waiting to be bought up. So they're not investing in content creators. They're not investing in new users. They're not investing in making their app better. They're just sitting around waiting for somebody to buy them. If somebody developed a streaming application that they wanted to make great, then it could be a great new platform. That's certainly not... on YouTube, you reach so many people. Steemit is mostly right-wingers. Well, get on Steemit and help change that. Lee Camp's doing a lot on Steemit. Is he a right-winger? Jimmy Dore shows on Steemit. Are we right-wingers? I'm on Steemit. Am I a right-winger? And I mean, and I'm still learning. I am on Steemit. I am on Steemit. Now, I have some I don't know about you guys. I know some of you guys use Steemit, but I have some problems. Like I will have a hard time with DTube. A lot of times, like DTube will like not upload the video, so they don't have to. What I do is if DTube is acting up, which it acts up for me a lot. I don't know about you guys, but DTube acts up for me a lot. What I do is if it keeps acting up, I'll just post a video on Steemit because Steemit's like the blogging version of it. So I'll just post a video on Steemit, and that's, you know, like that's just it. So I mean, my point is, and it's hard to exactly predict what's next, but Joe says, imagine progressive content creators just start posting their progressive news content on porn sites. Steemit is being manipulated. DTube sucks and takes 25% of your Steam. Well, then something else is going to come. I mean, and you know, and again, I'm going to keep creating on YouTube until I can't anymore. But I'm aware that something's going to come next. That's why I stream on LiveMe. I stream on LiveMe because I do think that streaming is going to come next. I do think streaming is going to be the way of the future. That's why I developed this show. That's why I developed Get Your News On with Ron. It's a different way of doing a show like this. It's a different way of streaming, and it's fun. I like it. I enjoy, as Mark Thompson put it, walking out on the high wire. I enjoy it. It's fun. And it's fun because you guys make it awesome. You guys make this show fun because you guys submit awesome articles. You guys make awesome points in the chat every day. And you guys hold our guests accountable. And that's really freaking cool. There have already been guests that have canceled on Get Your News On with Ron because they're scared of you guys. And I think that's so freaking cool. I think that's awesome. So, yeah, a couple people have canceled. I might name names at some point, not right now, but yeah, some people have canceled. All right, that's rad. Thanks, Kimmy. All right, so we could talk about this topic all day, so let's move on to some other articles. All right, so Brad sent this in. This counters what we just read. So let's go here first, and then we got to get on a total different topic altogether. Okay, so this is from The Guardian. Let me go ahead and give it a Get Your News On with Ron retweet. Now, Brad says that this counters what we just read. So this is, I guess, an alternative perspective. UK urged to counter disinformation from Russia over Novichok. Hamish de Bretton Gordon says government must give more details of why it is sure Moscow was behind Salisbury attack. This doesn't necessarily contradict what we just read. A leading chemical weapons expert has called on the UK government to give more details of why it is sure Moscow was behind the attack, after the head of the Portion Down Defense Research Laboratory said it has not established that the nerve agent was from Russia. Having seen a lot of various intelligence sources, I feel 100% confident that the Prime Minister is correct that the Russians are guilty. This is to Britain talking. The Russians do appear to be on the front foot with communications, and their disinformation campaign is putting the UK on the back foot. He accepted that it was difficult for sensitive information to be given out without the danger of betraying sources, but said the British government had to find a way of explaining more effectively how it had reached its conclusion Russia was to blame. So this guy's saying other people are saying it's Russia. Hoot points out, I'm pretty sure Russia didn't write the other article. Pretty sure Russia didn't delete that tweet either. And she's absolutely right. Russia didn't write that article that we read from The Independent. Nor do I think did Russia force these chemical weapons experts to conclude that they don't know that it came from Russia. They can't say with total certainty that it definitely came from Russia. Russia didn't make them do that. Or if you believe that then, I mean, that's a hell of a coup. And I'm sure some people do believe that. It's amazing what some people passively accept and what they don't, and then what they are so dismissive and weary of. You know, like my favorite is just all the people that are so freaking out over something like RT America because they honestly believe that an American bureau for a different country, which, by the way, we have bureaus in other countries all over the world. There's American bureaus in Russia for American news outlets, just like there are American bureaus of Russian outlets like RT America, like Sputnik America, BBC America, Al Jazeera America. That's something we do around the world to have better perspectives represented around the world so that we can learn about each other a little easier. That's why we have that. That's why different countries around the world have that. And here in the States, we have Chinese outlets, we have British outlets, we have Middle East outlets, we have Russian outlets, you know, and people are more skeptical of that. They honestly believe that Putin meets with RT America to make sure they're doing his bidding and propaganda because RT America is such a huge network. It's such a huge, it's not a very big network. You really think Putin meets with, oh, make sure you're doing my bidding. Meanwhile, we have a media that is owned by corporate interests that has an advertising structure set up so that people can buy favorable coverage. And if you watch cable news, every third commercial is for the oil and gas company. What, you think they're trying to get the word out? You think that they think most of the country doesn't realize, hey, I have to buy gas or my car doesn't move? No, everybody already knows that. Why do they advertise on cable news? To get favorable coverage. So that when DAPL happens, the media shuts up. So that when fracking is poisoning people's water, the media shuts the hell up. So that when it comes to the pipelines and drilling expansion, and when both parties are doing it, the media shuts the hell up. It's unbelievable. So basically, this guy is saying he's convinced Russia is guilty, but he's saying the UK government needs to supply evidence. Why did we react without evidence in the first place? That's the million-dollar question. Thank you for sharing that, Brad. I appreciate that. This is from James. And we're going to switch gears here a little bit. And we're almost out of time already. This goes so fast. Fox's Shep Smith fact checks Trump's Amazon claims. None of that was true. Fox News host Shepard Smith on Tuesday fact-checked President Trump's claim that the U.S. Postal Service was losing large amounts of money because Amazon was using it to deliver packages at low cost. The post office is losing billions of dollars, and the taxpayers are paying for that money because it delivers packages for Amazon at a very below cost, Trump told reporters. That's not fair to the United States, and it's not fair to our taxpayers, and Amazon has the money to pay the fair rate at the post office, he continued. Trump went on to say the post office loses $1.47 on every package. Smith responded to each of Trump's claims. The Postal Service's own numbers show it makes money by delivering packages for Amazon and other companies. As for taxpayers, the Post Office's own website points out, and I quote, the Postal Service receives no tax dollars for operating expenses, none. And a reference to that $1.47, a Citigroup study last year showed on average the Postal Service was charging $1.46 below market rates for package delivery. But our researchers point out that if that discount exists, it's not just for Amazon, it's a bulk rate discount. There was a great deal of confusion or something here regarding Amazon and the post office because none of that was true. So I think Trump's post office claim would kind of be a hard connection to make anyway, because so much of Amazon's business is just commerce between other people. You know, Joe Schmo can go sell something on Amazon. Jim Schmo buys it and Joe Schmo sends it to him. And those are just independent vendors. However, and again, Trump, I love how now, I think somebody pointed this out in the chat. Now, all of a sudden, the left, quote unquote, is defending Amazon because Trump doesn't like Amazon. And this is another just kind of great example of everything that's going on right now. Is Jeff Bezos a good guy just because Trump doesn't like him? No, he's not a good guy. Does that make Trump a good guy? No, Trump's not a good guy either. Why does Trump dislike Amazon? Because Trump's entire life is just one big measuring contest. He comes from a level of privilege you and I cannot even fathom. So that's the only thing he has to worry about. That doesn't mean that Jeff Bezos isn't a predator. He is. Jeff Bezos is a predator. Now, is Trump's postal service example probably a poor one that doesn't add up? Yeah, probably. But there are other ways where Amazon is exploiting this country. Workers being the biggest one. The way he'd rather have an ambulance parked outside of a warehouse to take people to the hospital than give them a decent warehouse working conditions, have proper air conditioning so they don't pass out while they're working. They also used to do things where if you didn't reach a certain quota every hour, you wouldn't get paid. They used to do that over at Amazon. They got caught for it. And it was declared illegal. So, yes, Jeff Bezos is a bad guy. Donald Trump is a bad guy. You don't have to side with one tribe or another. You can recognize that they're both bad guys. You can recognize that maybe when Trump comes at Amazon, his materials don't add up because Trump's a nincompoop. That doesn't mean Amazon's a great company. They're not. Bezos likes the idea of UBI so he won't have to pay his workers. I'm not familiar with his personal stance on UBI, but if he does favor UBI, that's exactly why he does. He would try to use it as a way to pivot into not paying his workers. Absolutely. Trump Bezos cage match. Yeah, can they both lose? I'm not on either side. You know, we talked about this on the Jimmy Dore. I was like, I'm not on either side. You know what side I'm on? I'm on the side of the person running their independent bookstore. I'm on the side of the person that has a record store that's been making its neighborhood cool for 30 plus years and continues to do so. I want to buy some used vinyl from them. I want to buy a book down the street. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. That's whose side I'm on. I'm not picking between Trump or Amazon. Oh, you're a liberal if you choose Amazon. You're a conservative if you choose Trump. How dumb A and B dichotomy can people get? Bezos, a predator that meets with weapons contractors. We don't even know what they talk about. He's in bed with the CIA. He owns a newspaper. He's trying to manipulate our food distribution by buying Whole Foods. He has more money than any of us could ever imagine having. He's the richest man the face of the earth has ever seen, arguably. Yet he won't pay people a living wage. He's a megalomaniac psycho. He works nonstop. And this is celebrated in the world of capitalism. This is celebrated in the world of capitalism. This is sickness. This is bizarre. Bezos is getting into healthcare too, Jilly points out. I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. So, yeah, and Trump's postal service example is probably lazy and incomplete. And Fox News is harping on it because they have nothing better to do. Heaven forbid anyone in the corporate media does an actual report of what's really going on. And the fact that you're supposed to pick your plutocrat. Oh, pick your oligarch, Jeff Bezos or Donald Trump. How dumb do you have to be? I'm sure Pelosi will be endorsing Bezos runs, Balthazar points out. Also, Balthazar, thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. Hoot points out, Trump needs to badmouth farmers markets and co-ops. Then the resistant would help farmers markets and co-ops, LOL. Hey, some of the resistance already does that. If you go to your local farmers market, you will see a couple NPR tote bags. And I guarantee they're part of the resistance in their mind. Is that a Martin, Bob asked? No, this is a Yamaha. This is actually a Yamaha. Bezos healthcare will be like the hospital scene in Idiocracy. Marsha says, if I had Bezos money, I'd end world hunger and homelessness in the U.S. That would be a start. It's time to move to the next level. As president, I will introduce grassroots co-op funding. Let's see if we got one more to close out. We need a side-by-side with Idiocracy showing how much has come true. I don't think any of it has come true. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go water my basil plants with some Gatorade. All right, this was submitted by Linus. We're going to end with this. A loss of wealth is tied to a higher death risk, and they say, duh. So this is from NPR, or as we like to call it, National Petroleum Radio, or Neutral Pathetic Reporting, or Nice Polite Republicans, or, I mean, we got a bunch of them. We got a bunch of them. Financial ruin can be hazardous to your health. No kidding. No kidding. Yeah, you need currency to survive. This is an NPR report. They thought this was newsworthy to people. Here, let me go ahead and post this this link. You guys can follow along. An analysis involving more than 8,000 Americans found those that suffered a negative wealth shock, defined as losing at least 75% of their wealth in 2 years, faced a 50% increased risk of dying over the next 2 decades. That was surprising. Really? According to Linda Poole, a research assistant professor of preventative medicine, that was surprising. That was surprising to Lindsay. A 50% increased risk of mortality over a 20-year period is a lot. The study is the first to find an association between financial catastrophes and an increased risk of dying in the long term, Poole says. The results were published Tuesday in JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association. Previous research had found that financial problems can have short-term negative effects on health. No shit. For example, increase the risk of developing high blood pressure and depression. Really? Depression? I figured it'd have the opposite effect. I figured that people would just have a big Tyler Durden moment, and they'd think, now the things that I own are no longer controlling me. I'm free to do what I want. I'm going to go start a fight club and live in an abandoned hut in Oregon somewhere. I thought that's what everybody did. No, turns out that was just a movie. Turns out when you lose 75% of your wealth over 2 years, something really terrible happened. Maybe your business went belly up. Maybe you lost your job unfairly. Maybe you had a medical condition and you couldn't afford the healthcare bills. Gee, that might be why we found out that people die. Prybite says, NPR breaking news. Water is wet and the sky is indeed blue. How privileged do you have to be? Basically, this article could have just been called, hey, when really shitty stuff happens and people are out on their luck, it doesn't go well for them. Did you know that? Did you know that when bad stuff happens to people, they don't like it might have other effects? They might, oh, that's so weird. Who would have thought that? That's crazy. Here our next, we're going to talk about the history of we're going to talk about the history of jazz next. We're going to talk about that. And here's some jazz. And yeah, we're going to talk about, here's an American life on somebody that did something more interesting than anybody affiliated with this network would ever do with their lives. So let's listen to them. Let's listen. That's what a lot of those shows, it's just like, here's people that are actually interesting. Let's hear what they have to say, because we can't imagine ever being interesting on our own. We can't imagine it. Would Ron go on NPR? Of course I would. Yes, they have a huge reach. Are you kidding? Of course I would go on NPR. Of course I would. I'd go on NPR tomorrow. I'd even let them smear me. The amount of death and despair coming simply from people retiring without enough will be mind-boggling. Probably. Oh. And my phone fell. Feed ducks, ducks feed me. Man, did you guys know this? People that lose 75% of their wealth within 2 years, they get depressed. If Ron went on NPR and hit the progressive quota they would have for the whole year. If that's true, I guess I got to wait till 2019. Guys, we are totally out of time. Thank you so much for being part of this. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. We will see if the heater contributes, maybe sometime in the future. Thank you guys for being patient with me. I am on my own here, monitoring both chats. Pasta is finishing up training at his new gig, so he hasn't been around as much. My cat really misses him at our new place. Really, yeah, it's really missing him. So, guys, thank you so much. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone. That's where you can tweet me articles or use our Reddit subsection, reddit.com/r/getyournewsonwithron. RonPlacone.com. We're announcing more dates by the day. Seriously, I've announced a couple dates just the past couple days. And I'll be making some announcements. By the way, quick announcement, though. Thursday, Sycamore Tavern, 8 p.m. here in Los Angeles, California. I'm doing my political stand-up show, and guess who's headlining it? Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is headlining that show. So email me, ronplacone.com. Email me, and you can get on the guest list. Say you heard it here. Say, hey, I heard it on Get Your News On with Ron. I want to get on the guest list. You can get on the guest list for that show. So, lastly, if you want to support this show, help me get to my next level. Help me upgrade equipment. Help me pay Pasta so he doesn't have to go into training for another job. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. You can give it whatever level you're comfortable with, and you get all the same content. I know Patreon has a setting, so it tells you you're just supporting, but you can give it any level you want. Whether you give $1, whether you give more, you get all the same content. So, and I submit something every Wednesday, every Sunday. You get free tickets to any of my shows you want. It's pretty cool. So patreon.com/Ron Placone. If you are so able, I will send you out with this song, with the theme. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Get your news on with Ron. Just wanna know what's going on. Get your news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Just wanna know what's going on. Let's hope we don't start World War III. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and take it on. Get your news on with Ron. Just wanna know what's going on. Get your news on today. Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. We will see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, because we do this every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. See you guys tomorrow. Until then, stay safe. Peace.